Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Forestburg kickoff for the 2021 season. Just a couple of ground rules before we get into tonight's wonderful presentation. There is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Any questions that you have, please make sure you type them in the bottom of that screen, and we will address those. Please realize that we will address those questions at the end of the presentation. So we will answer those questions in the order that they have been received. But anytime during this presentation, if you do have questions, please be sure to just type them in. And once again, we will answer them at the end. I would say hold off on asking any questions you may have, because there will be an extensive FAQ section that you will go through, and it may answer your questions. However, as we said, we will be answering them at the end. Without further ado, I'd now like to begin our program and welcome the Monmouth Council Scout Executive, Michael Mahone.
Good evening, Scouts and Scouters and parents. Can you believe this weather? Welcome to the 2021 Forestburg Summer Camp Kickoff. I am truly excited to be with you tonight to discuss one of my favorite Boy Scout summer camps, Forestburg. While we were all on our 12-month hiatus, spending lots of times in our homes, socially distancing and not able to visit camp, a lot of amazing things have occurred at Forestburg. The wildlife took back the camp, and many of our furry creatures are now roaming campsite trails and roads as we speak. But more than just that, through the resources of donors and volunteers, we have been able to freshen up camp, and you will see many changes and upgrades as you enter camp. The first thing you'll notice is a new, large, illuminated and reflective camp sign. Next, we widened and regraded the camp road, the main road into the camp, and added an underground covert pipe to provide better drainage as you enter the camp. Gone is the infamous puddle that welcomed you to camp on both rainy and dry days. We expanded the Thacker parking lot to accommodate more vehicles and add multi-person individual stalled comfort station. We renovated Wilkinson Lodge to prepare it for the needs of our current troops. We added numerous permanent campsite pavilions in Billet and in Danbeard for your unit's use. And we have over 400 new cots and bedding at each campsite for your comfort. New cabins and a shower bathroom complex for the staff in the summer, but rentable facilities on weekend trips near the Catholic Chapel for units to use in September through June. A fresh coat of paint on many of our buildings. We have also added a few new camp programs that our Scouts and Scout leaders will certainly enjoy. I'll let Sue tell you more about them. You will hear about and see some of these many upgrades as we spend the next 25 minutes together taking a virtual tour of Summer Camp 2021 at Forestburg Scout Reservation. Whether this is your unit's 25th season or first year, welcome. Please rise and join with me as we pay our respects to our nation and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the Scout Oath.
Color Guard, present the colors. Scout Luke McGrath will recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
May everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Scout sign. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2.
Scout Matt Walker will recite the Scout Oath.
Scout sign. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. 2.
Scout Jackson Harris will recite the Scout Law.
Now, please join me in the Scout Law. Scout sign. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2.
Scout Richie Smelk will recite the Outdoor Code.
Please join me in the Outdoor Code. Scout sign. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation-minded, too.
Thank you, everyone. Color guard, post the colors. Color guard dismissed.
And now I have the pleasure of introducing for her 18th consecutive year, our camp director, Sue Renshaw. Sue, take it away.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. You know, I keep looking outside and going, oh my God, thank God I don't have to shovel it yet. At any rate, we want to welcome you to Forestburg Kickoff 2021. It's a little disappointing that we couldn't have it in person, but that's okay. We will figure this out. That's been our mantra since the beginning. We are going to have summer camp this year. Couple of people I would like to introduce to you. We have, of course, you've already met our council scout executive, Mike Mahone. With us this evening, we have our camping committee chairperson. We also have a new person I'd like to introduce everyone to. You'll get to know her very well over the summer. This is our new program director at camp, Jessie Hewlett, and she's got a couple words to tell you.
Hello, my name is Jessica Hewlett. I am very excited and proud to say that I'm going to be the program director for the 2021 season at FSR. So to tell you all a little bit about myself, I started my working career at the Center for Discovery as a residential associate. My most current working experience was at Sullivan Bosse's during their summer program as a teaching assistant. And I am currently working towards my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I am really looking forward to having a great year at camp and cannot wait.
Thanks, Jessie. Jessie comes to us from Troop 95 in Liberty, New York, one of the brand new all-girl Scouts BSAs. And with us, we have our services manager, Jillian Kaiser. Jillian, do you want to say a few words?
Sure, thank you, and welcome everyone. I hope that it is not snowing as hard down there as it is up here at Forestburg. I'm very excited to welcome all of our regular campers come back and all of our new faces that'll be here this summer. And I'm your camp services director, so if you need it and you don't have it, let me know. looking forward to seeing you in just a few short months. Thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Jillian. I want to get you all in the mood. I know it's cold and I know it's white outside, but let's think lots of sunshine. For those of you who have never been to Forestburg, we're very proud of our camp and we'd like to show you a little bit about camp. And for those of you who are missing Forestburg, I hope this brings back warm memories for you. Just a reminder, the film clips that you're about to see was pre-COVID, so no one is wearing masks, all right?
I'm in a sweet spot. I'm feeling good. The sun is shining. I knew it would. The world's a playground. I'm in the clouds. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Just check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out. I'm on the big stage. I got my crew. I'll get you moving. It's what I do. The party's started. It's going down. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Just check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Just check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. I'm gonna light it up. Just check it out. I'm gonna light it up. Let me show you what it's all about.
Well, I hope that got your blood moving. Summer camp 2021. Our summer camp session, if you'll notice, starts a week later than usual to stay away from the 4th of July weekend. So session 1 will start July the 11th and it will end July the 16th. We have 5 sessions. We are planning on holding all 5 sessions during summer camp. The last session goes from August the 8th to August the 13th. Now, some important dates that you should be aware of. April 1st. This is when all campership applications are due in council. For those of you who aren't aware, we do offer camperships to anybody that wants to come to any of our camps. And that would also include Quail. But more importantly, we'd like to offer this opportunity to any scout that needs a little assistance. The camperships do not cover the whole entire cost of camp. And of course, it only covers 1 session. May 15th, at the end of May 15th, all early bird fees end. June 15th, normal camp fees in. And then, as always, 2 weeks before camp, all medical forms are due. If, a word about the medical forms, if you have 90% or 99.9% of your medicals, please don't hold those medicals up. Send them in, and the 1 or 2 that you're missing, you can do up at camp. 1 week before camp, we ask you to please call camp with your actual numbers. Jillian is working real hard to make sure that we have the right counts for you, make sure we have the food supplies and any other supplies we need to make your stay up at camp a really good one, but we do need your cooperation in this. All right, moving on. Our summer camp program, we are planning on running a normal summer camp program, but of course, with our present situation with the COVID-19, we are going to have to make some accommodations and modifications. All units will be able to select the merit badges as always. And for the Dan Beard side, you'll be making your normal patrol style cooking. The billet side, or the people that are planning on eating in the dining hall, you'll be able to select your meal times. Self-scheduling options such as the zipline times, monkey bridge times, and any other special program we have, troop climb, troop swim, they will all be available on Tentaroo. Open areas will operate as normal, as open areas. Our camp-wide activities such as the chili cook-off and our camp-wide games, and new for 2021, our cardboard boat regatta and cinema under the stars are planning to be operated as normal. Now, one big change for us for 2021, our Outback program has been modified because of the COVID-19 restrictions, and we will not have any trips operating out of camp. Your Forestburg Leaders Guide and the daily program, both guides will be listed and featured on our camp website. You'll be able to download it, take a look at all of the programs we have, as well as a full description. Now, I know it says Forestburg Leaders Camp and Program Guide. Please make this available to even your parents because there's a lot of information in there regarding merit badge prerequisites, suggested packing list, things like that. There's a lot of information in there, and this is not a secret that it can be downloaded by any participant. New for 2021, we're very proud that all of the billet campsites have pavilions in them, and 6 pavilions have been set up on the Dan Beard side. We do have a number of merit badges new for 2021, and they include citizenship in the world, citizenship in the nation. We have recycled energy, geocaching, reptiles and amphibian, and chemistry. We have a brand new air pistol program, which is going to be offered. It's not a merit badge, so it is offered in the open area. Our cardboard boat regatta should be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to seeing these creations. As Mike mentioned, we have some brand new flush toilets set up in right outside of the Thacker Welcome Center, and they are individual stalls, and they're gorgeous. And for our senior adult leaders, we have a Rusty Man competition, and we hope that all of our Rusty Men will take a hand and a run at it, okay? Safeguards up at Forestburg. This is a reality for all of us. We do have to take precautions, even though things may ease up quite a bit. We will be running camp according to the latest guidelines that we get from the CDC, as well as New York State Department of Health. Check-in. This is a little different for this year. All troops, you will arrive. You'll be given a block time, pre-assigned time and location for your check-in. group and collect the pre-camp screening logs from each unit. The pre-camp screening log is very important. You need to do this before you pile everybody up into the cars. You need to take the temperatures and make sure that you've talked to everybody and have done the screening. Because once they get up to camp, we will be doing another temperature check. Guides will ensure that everyone has and wears a mask. After the temperature check, your guides will distribute the security wristbands for each camper and take the unit to the campsite. The reason I stress the pre-camp screening, if we find an individual that has a temperature, and the temperature is anything over 100.4, that person has to be isolated and rechecked after. We'll give them a little bit of time to cool off. They may have been excited, the car may have been warm, but we'll give them a little bit of time to cool off and then recheck the temperature again. If it indicates that there is a temperature, then that person or that carload will not be permitted to enter camp. So in order to avoid that, please be sure that you do, before the event, your pre-camp screening and your pre-camp temperature checks. As usual, all units will be taken on a camp orientation tour as described in the leader's guide. Additional safeguards, all program areas and dining room will have sanitizers and our hand washing stations. Our staff will be cleaning the programming equipment between classes, and we will have sanitation teams out and about cleaning all of the public areas several times a day. They'll be doing the disinfecting as well as the cleaning. When practical, we will hold classes outside because according to the CDC, that's the safest place to be. Now, our class sizes have been reduced so we can get a little more of the social distancing. Mask compliance will be enforced in all areas where advised per the CDC and the New York State Health Department. Our dining hall will operate with reduced capacity, and we will have outdoor dining areas set up. You'll be assigned particular sets of tables, and that's where you will go for your meals. This is a biggie for everyone. Camp will close on Friday at 3 p.m. And the reason for this is we have to do deep cleaning of camp and we need the time in between sessions. So camp will be closing on Friday. Out of town shopping trips by your leaders is strongly discouraged. We want to limit any exposure to anything that's going on outside of camp. Our Outback program has been modified to remove the out-of-camp trips. So as a result of this, we have rolled back the Outback fees to the regular camp fees. The Outback program still is set up for those scouts that are over 14 that want to have just a fun summer and not have to worry about prerequisites for merit badges. So this is a little bit of playtime for your senior scouts. We ask anyone that's planning on participating in the climbing program or using the zip line or monkey bridge, bring gloves. Gardening gloves work very well. When you set up your buddies for your tents, we do recommend, when practical, especially for the older scouts and you have the extra tent capacity in your site, assign them to single occupancy. Now, units may bring your own individual tents. The only thing we ask is that you please make sure the tents are marked with no flame inside, or no flame inside of tent. The extra tents that you do bring up are to be used in your site. When you're bunking two scouts, and this is usually going to happen with the younger scouts, you want to set them up as buddies. Please plan on using the head-to-toe arrangement inside of the tent, or move the cot so it's an L shape and the kids are sleeping toe-to-toe. Masking requirements. We hear a lot about masks. Now we're talking about putting on 17 layers of masks. No, that's not required at camp. But we do ask with the masks, please be aware of what is acceptable and what's not. Our acceptable masks, of course, include the cloth reusable that can be washed in between use. The surgical style disposable, you can pick them up at anywhere by the carton full. If you're going to use gator style, the thin gaiters are not permitted. Make sure that it has at least 2 layers on the gator. And if they're going to use gaiters, they better bring up several because they are going to sweat and they are going to get them dirty. Of course, N95 or the NK95 masks are acceptable. Scarves, neckerchiefs, and bandanas are not acceptable for the obvious reason. Kids, even adults, have a hard time keeping them up and covering nose and mouth. If your scout or someone comes up and they want to wear a face shield, please remember, all face shields, you still need a mask underneath, all right? And then, last but not least, split masks are not permitted. And those are the ones that have a little hole in them so that you can eat, you can talk, you can drink. Well, if you've got a hole in the mask, there's really no purpose in having the mask on, is it? Masking do's and don'ts. Please remind your scouts to bring a sufficient supply of masks, whether they're cloth or the disposables. Please remember, disposables are one-time use. They're not to be reused over and over. Now, we will have emergency supplies on hand in the program areas, and there is a supply for sale in the trading post. Masking is not an option. Please remember that. We will be following the guidelines set out by the CDC and New York State Department of Health. On the waterfront, if you're actively participating in the swimming merit badge or another merit badge in or on the water, you do not need to wear a mask. But if you are on shore taking part of your class on shore, masks are required. And this is just a quick visual about masks. Please remember, they're not necklaces, they're not headbands. Under your nose does no good. Only covering your nose does no good. It is not a chin strap, and it is certainly not an earring or a bracelet. So please wear your masks correctly. Jillian, I'm going to turn it over to you, our services manager, and she'll talk about the billet and Dan Beard side for meals.
Thank you, Sue. Over in the billet dining hall. You lost me there, Sue.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll need you to mute as well. You'll get feedback from me. Okay, there we go. So all units are going to have a prescribed time for meals. You'll be able to pick your times on Tenaru when you do your registration. This is to avoid any backlog. We normally line up outside the dining hall with several troops in place at once. We want to try and avoid that. So we will give you specific times for meals. If you're going to be late, we're going to have to make accommodations. We can't have everyone bunching up outside the dining hall door. All units must take your assigned seats first before being permitted to get your meals. So you'll come in, you'll sit down, and we're going to be serving all meals cafeteria style. In the past, dinner was typically served family style. That will change for this year. Currently under the guidelines, we'll be serving everything cafeteria style, and there will be no self-serve stations, not for this season. So items that we had in the past, such as salad, soup, cereals, even peanut butter and jelly, everything is going to be inside the food service line. It will be handed to you from our kitchen servers so that we don't have any cross-contamination issues. Self-serve beverages will also be dispensed by food service personnel. You'll still be able to get your coffee. You'll still be able to get your tea. You just won't be able to self-serve. Your mask must be worn in the dining hall at all times when you're not actively eating or drinking. So if you're sitting at your table having a chat, please put your mask on. Again, this is not only just for your protection, it's for everyone's protection, especially our staff. Over on Dan Beard's side, Rogerson Meal Pickup, the Grub Hustlers will still be picking up supplies at Rogerson as usual. We want to make sure that everyone's wearing masks while they're coming up to Rogerson and while you're in Rogerson, picking up any supplies, and please social distance as well while you're waiting in line. Dietary restrictions. Please, 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 I cannot stress this enough. Make sure that your dietary restrictions, your allergies, special food requests, that you put that note in while you're registering, and make sure you confirm with your person that's checking you in that we have that information. I did see a couple of questions regarding food allergies and things of that nature. The leadership really needs to make sure that that information is put in on Sunday night. We're going to be publishing the menus in the spring, so please make sure that once they're published to review them. If there's any concerns regarding any of the food items, we also have a vegetarian and a gluten-free menu that is posted as well. It'll all be on the same sheet. Review it, make sure that we have what your children will eat, and if not, we need to know so we can have other arrangements made. Any questions, make sure you put them in the Q&A section at the and we'll get to them at the end. Thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Jillian. All right, so that's the procedure for your meals. And we do have a Plan B, just in case. This Plan B is not going to go into effect unless we've been told by New York State. We are completely planning on running a normal camp with the restrictions that we just outlined. If we have to do a Plan B, I'm not going to spend that much time on it tonight. You'll get more information as that information comes out to us. But basically, we will have all units operating as cohorts, and the cohorts, as you can see, will populate according to your sites and your troops. And what we will do with the cohorts is that we will run the cohorts through each program area. While you're in that program area, you'll have an opportunity, I say you, your scouts will have an opportunity to work on whatever merit badges are offered in that area. And we will make sure that you have the opportunity to hit all of the program areas that we do offer up at camp. Okay, so we will discuss this in detail if it becomes necessary, but this is the one that we're going to put in our back pocket and hopefully we won't have to use. 65th anniversary. Yes, 2021 is the 65th anniversary of Forestburg Scout Reservations. And we'd like to have, Don, where are you?
I'm ready to go, Sue. Thank you very much. Forestburg, 120 plus acres in the Catskill region. It's a beautiful camp, right? Forestburg was opened in 1956, so we're celebrating our 65th anniversary. As you can see on the screen, we have a 65th anniversary council commemorative patch. To celebrate the anniversary, besides the patch, we've been selling Forestburg Swiss Army knives, which were available and will be available for sale. We're going to have other items, souvenir items that will be available in the trading post. And each week that we're at camp, there'll be a recognition of some sort taking place at the camp. So 65 years is something to be proud of. We're also working with the Council Alumni Committee. We're trying to come up with plans for our annual alumni weekend to make it a little special. Again, depending on restrictions, it's going to affect what we do and when we do it, but we're definitely trying to get something to celebrate with our alumni, our friends, and our camp faithful. So stand by for more information as we get closer to camp opening. Hopefully you come up this summer and help us celebrate. Before I close, I'd just like to thank Sue and Jillian and Mike Mahone and Margie Ramirez for all the work that they did last year, trying to get camp to open, and all the work they're doing this year as we are going to open camp. So I'd like to thank them for all their help, and hopefully I'll see you on the trail. Thanks, Sue.
Thanks, Don. We are definitely planning on seeing all of you on the trail, and we, like I said, we are planning on running as normal a program as possible. So, continuing on, we've got some FAQs for you that we'd like to answer. These are FAQs that have been submitted to us and to Margie. People have been asking us, can I register after my unit has paid for camp? Of course, late additions could be added to your registration as late as 2 weeks before camp. If it's less than 2 weeks, contact Monmouth Council. Now, what if an adult can't attend the entire camp session? Adult leadership that can't spend the entire week up with the unit, you can select any portion of that week, as long as the unit does keep the 2 deep leadership. What happens if we only have one adult to attend camp? Well, there's a couple of ways that we've done in the past to resolve this. First option would be, of course, to combine you with another troop that has sufficient leadership to get you the coverage that you need. And then if it's a short gap, in other words, you've got an adult leader coming in later on and it's only for a day or so, we'll see about getting one of our staff members to be your second adult leader. Scouts, as a scout, can I attend at a different time than my unit? Of course, we will have provisional camping available this summer. This question down here, do parents and leaders have to be registered? As of January 2019, yes, all adult leaders have to be registered. In order to complete the registration, of course, youth protection must be taken. Now, if your adult leaders are just registering as an adult, you can always register them in position 91U, which is the unit's scout or reserve. They don't have to be registered with a position. But having them registered allows the Boy Scouts to do a criminal background check prior to camping, and also ensures that the youth protection training has been taken. We get this a lot. What if our unit doesn't fill a campsite and our favorite campsite is supposed to be a 50-person campsite? Well, what we're going to do is, if we have to, we will move the unit to a smaller campsite if available. If not, we may have to combine a couple of troops in the large campsite. We don't like to do this because we know that we all have our favorite sites. And we are also encouraging, if you have extra tents in your site, to go ahead and assign them to your senior scouts so that it's single occupancy. But this is if we have to have the room and we have no other choice, and you only have 10 people in a 50-person site, of course, we're going to ask you to move. Question is, we have adults who have to stay in contact with home or work. Is there cell coverage or internet access at camp? Wi-Fi over the years, once upon a time it was non-existent. Well, especially in my tenure, it was non-existent. We are now very, very well covered in our program areas with Wi-Fi. In most program areas, the trading post, the dining hall, as well as the Scoutmasters lounges. The Scoutmasters lounges are open normally from about 8 in the morning until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. The other areas, such as the dining hall, of course, is open the entire time. Cell service has improved tremendously. Once upon a time, you had to stand on the third rock in Seneca with your one arm in the air and your left foot on the ground in order to get cell service. Well, things have changed with more towers in the area and better coverage. AT&T still has the best coverage last time I checked, but I'm not encouraging anybody just to change over for summer camp. Verizon does have decent coverage in different places as well. But please remember, we have the Wi-Fi internet access, so you can make, internet calls and receive messages. Procedures for problems and emergencies. For those of you who have been camping with us over the years, you know that when you arrive at camp, in your welcome packet, you do have a sheet that says emergency procedures. I'm not laying out the specific instructions, but you will have all this information in your welcome packets. In addition, while you do your camp tour, you'll be given areas where you need to collect if there's an emergency and what sounds you should be listening for. Okay? What kind of medical form do I need for summer camp? And does this apply to adults as well? Yes, you must use the BSA Annual Health and Medical Record. And you can find this on our website. And it'll also be on the Forestburg website under forms. Adults that are staying overnight, you still have to use the same form and make sure that you do have it, a copy of your medical with the health officer. This is the only medical form that we are accepting at camp. Once upon a time, when things were a little more relaxed, we were accepting the school sports medicine forms. We're no longer accepting that. Please make sure that all the information is laid out on the BSA annual health forms, okay? Can I get a discount? Of course, we're going to give you a discount if you're coming for more than 1 week. Scouts will receive $40 discount for each additional week. Do adults have to complete a camp swim test? Only if you're planning on going in the water. And for those of you who are avid fishermen and you want to take a rowboat out, you have to have that swim test done before you go out on the water. How do I take a pre-camp swim test? We will have arrangements. Tentatively, they are set up for May the 22nd and 23rd at Quail Hill Scout Reservations, where we do the pre-camp swim tests. Now, if you can't get there, don't worry, you will have time once you get to camp to do your swim test. Again, the question, if I can only attend for a partial session, what's the fee? We don't have any partial session fees or a daily fee for youth, but we do have a prorated fee schedule for adults. How do I apply for a campership, and when will we find out if we've received one? Camperships, again, are available to all scouts. We would like to encourage all scouts to at least attend 1 week of camp, especially after this 10-month lockdown for many of us. We encourage you to get outside in the sunshine where it's safe. The campership applications are located in the Leader's Guide as well as posted on the Monmouth Council website. And the deadline, remember, is April 1st. We cannot accept any other camperships after April 1st, so please be sure that you do get them in on time. If a campership is awarded, it'll be you'll be notified of it as soon as it's awarded, but it is not transferable. So leaders, please be sure campership is awarded to that particular scout that has shown need. And camperships are determined on a case-by-case basis. It's used to offset the cost of camp. It will not cover the entire fee. And it is definitely not for more than 1 week of camp. Units have asked, do we get free adults? Of course you get free adults. If you're bringing 8 to 15 scouts, you will get 1 free adult. If you're bringing over 16 scouts, you will receive 2 free adults. Now, this is a big question that we get time and time again. Please remind your parents, getting a partial merit badge is not a failure. It just means that the scout needs to do a little more work, or they didn't do their homework, okay? Partials are good until the scout turns 18. Following camp, if you have somebody that has a partial, work with the unit leader. You can locate local merit badge counselors, and the scout can complete them with the local counselor. Now, if you believe while you're up at camp and you received your bag of blue cards and you find out maybe there's a discrepancy, it wasn't signed off, what do we do? If you believe there was a discrepancy, First of all, I would recommend anybody that get a hold of the person that has your Tentaroo registration so you can go into the Tentaroo system. It will be listed, the class attendance as well as the requirements completed at camp. Okay, and then it may be that when doing the physical marking of the blue card, the counselor missed it, but it is recorded in Tentaroo. If you believe that there really is a discrepancy, please call Monmouth Council, the camping department, and we will research that discrepancy. Now, do we have more questions, Will?
Yes, we do, Sue. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce the Vice President of Camp Program and Properties, James Phillips.
Thank you, Will, and welcome everybody. And what I'll say to you is there's a lot of work and effort behind the scenes going on. So our plans that we have to file with the state of New York are being reviewed by New York State health officials. We've already been in contact several times. We do have a camp physician, some folks may not be aware of that, who are also reviewing our policies and procedures for this year. So I would just say if parents have questions or leaders have questions, we're happy to answer them tonight or in the future. And please be aware, just be flexible, right? Because if things come up or right before camp, something changes, we'll have to adjust. But we are just very excited to be able to open the doors again and get folks back up to camp. And so with all the improvements that Mike talked about, it's really going to be nice that when you walk into camp, there's a bathroom, or that when you see Wilkinson, that you see some brand new windows and those garage doors are gone. So just we're looking forward to getting everybody back into camp. And Will, I'll turn it back to you.
All right, thank you, James. I now ask Sue if you could remove the shared screen. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have the option on your end to put your view as a grid view, this way you can get all the panelists on here. And what we're going to do now is I'll ask all the panelists to please unmute yourselves. And as we have questions, please shout out some answers. There was one thing that I just quickly answered with James was, yes, we do offer campership in and out of council. So that's just something I think it's important to announce and bring out there. But we'll start off with the first question. Are there any new merit badges that will be offered this year? Sue, you have to unmute yourself.
Absolutely. The new merit badges that we are offering up at camp would be the 2 citizenships. We have a new corner set up. It's over in Scoutcraft, and we are moving all of our Eagle requireds over there. That can be moved. Of course, we're not moving life-saving out of the waterfront, but we are offering citizenship of the nation and citizenship of the world. We have brought back and recycled energy, chemistry, reptiles and amphibian, and geocaching.
All right. The other question that was on there, and I think it was answered, but you may reiterate, will the Outback program take place? I believe the answer was yes, but there were some modifications, correct, Sue?
Absolutely, and it is listed inside of your Leader's Guide. The Leader's Guide will be posted. I don't know if it's been posted yet, but it will be posted soon. And you'll see. And they will include a canoe trip, as well as climbing, as well as hiking, cycling. But we are going to try to keep all of that on property.
So before you jump off of that, I just wanted to recommend to our leaders that have been here in the past, the Leader's Guide has basically been rewritten. So make sure you go through everything. There's been a lot of changes that we had to make because of COVID-19. And just make sure that you do go through and review all the information.
Great. All right. The next one was, will troops be provided a copy of the slide deck? And for those that aren't aware, this is being recorded, and we're going to upload this to the council's YouTube page, the Forestburg YouTube page, as well as the Facebook page. And I guess it'll be up to everybody else if we want to email this out. Any further divulging into that? Everybody okay with that? Say that again, please.
All of the above.
Okay, great. We'll move on. Sue, I believe you just mentioned it, but someone asked, when will the copy of the Leader's Guide be available? Because it's not up on the website.
It's going to be up there shortly. I know that we made additional changes again because of some health considerations. So we've changed things around, but it will be posted shortly. Now, the one thing that we want everyone to know is that we will be updating all of you monthly, whether it's an email blast or another Zoom meeting. We will be updating you monthly on any new information that we get from New York State or the CDC regarding, the COVID restrictions that we have to operate under.
Okay. I think this is a great question. It's something I think needs to be promoted, especially to folks that haven't been to our camp in the past 2 years. What food service company will be servicing the camp this year? Does the company and the food service director have experience working at Forestburg? I'm tying this all together. Unless anyone takes their Governor Murphy pad out and write questions out as he does this. How will they work with troops relative to food allergy needs? And I can repeat any part of that again if you'd like.
I'll start answering it and then I'll pass it on to Jillian. Wolf Foods is back for their 3rd year. They would have been back their 4th year had we operated last year. And for the last at least 15 years, we've had an on-site services director in Jillian Kaiser. She actually lives at camp and she's been through at least the last 10 to 12 camping seasons. And I turn it over to her for the dietary questions.
Thanks, Mike. Just to reiterate again what I said earlier in the dining hall in the Dan Beard section, if one of your scouts or even one of your adults has special food requirements, special food needs, or actually need to bring their own food with them, that's something I need to know, and that should be coming in with your registrations. Note on Tenaroo. You can also email me as well. I'm sure they'll be posting my email address. You can't tell me too many times. My goal this year is that every scout, every adult that has a special food requirement, we meet that. And the new this year for the menus, we'll be posting them on the website. Again, offering gluten-free, vegetarian. Review those with your scouts and their families. We want to make sure that not only are you safe at Forestburg, but you're having fun and you're not hungry. So it's really up to the troop leadership to confirm with me when they come in on Sunday. Make sure you can't tell me too many times. I'm just going to keep repeating that. I want to know so that I can make sure this is a smooth, seamless process and everyone has a great time and stay safe.
Okay, may I add just one more thing now? If you have a dietary restriction due to health allergies or things like that, you're going to hear this repeated over and over. When you complete your registration, there is a form to fill out for that particular scout. In addition, on the medical form, the dietary restriction should be there. So the registration form goes to Jillian, and the medical form is going to Mary. Those of you who remember Mary Afraid of Bear is coming back to us, thank goodness. And the two of them will cover this. They'll probably be repeating to each other over and over to make sure that the kitchen has the correct information. But it's very important that we know this stuff ahead of time so that we don't miss any scout.
And I will add that since the food vendor has changed, the food's great. As someone who's picky and likes good food, I like their food. So I certainly recommend it. All right, moving on. A ton of questions about the leader's guide, stuff that's already been answered. This is a good one. Are there pavilions in all of the Dan Beard campsites? Willowmock.
So I'll take that one, Sue. So Willowmock, the goal is to have it in before summer camp. Troop 515 was scheduled to come in the fall and then pushed to the spring. So we have the funds. It's just we need some bodies to help put it up. So the rest of Dan Beard, the main campsites have them. Some of the overflow ones do not. If there's questions, it's in the leader's guide. And then it's just going to come down to person power, right? If we're going to put them in other sites at this point before summer camp.
Okay. Next question is, can you specify which classes will be held outside?
Okay, right now, every class except for some of the tech classes, because we're not dragging the computers out every day, will be held outside. They'll be held outside under a shelter or a pavilion. Tech, it's too hard to get the equipment back and forth under the pavilion. So basically, all the other classes will be held outside. Now, I did see a question that just came up about swimming.
Yeah.
We are still offering the swim lessons for those kids that need it. It's on the list when you take that personal program form. It is offered on there.
Okay. All right. Next questions. Will the Shomer Shabbat units be permitted to remain in camp Friday night through Sunday?
Yeah, we'll make special arrangements. I know that the Shomer Shabbat group is planning on doing 2 weeks. We also have another troop from northern New Jersey, I believe. They'll be back with us because it's their rotation to visit us for 2 weeks, and we will make special provisions. That's not an issue. We might have to have you move around a little bit and make sure that you're not in the areas that we're disinfecting. So, but we are making special provisions for those units that are staying overnight or over 2 weeks.
Excellent. Next one is from someone we all know. What is the drop dead date for go, no go with regard to New York State and whether the camps will be open? Will it be early enough to make alternate arrangements?
Mike, you want to take that one?
I'm going to say I'll be the fool and say April 1st.
Okay, we're shooting for the information that we've gotten so far from New York State is that they're going to be making some decisions in the next 60 days. That'll put us just about April 1st. So we should have a very clear idea whether we can do this or not.
But we do have contingency plans to offer resident camp if that does happen.
Okay. Next question. Who is
So wait, let me
Sorry,
just add to that real quick. So if New York for some reason comes out with different guidelines than they've initially have told us, do remember as you're looking at units to travel this possible summer, you have to also worry about the quarantine rules. So with New Jersey and other surrounding states. So I know, for example, several states offered like Summit last year. West Virginia currently is on the no travel 10-day quarantine list to come back into New Jersey. So just keep that in mind. It's not to discourage somebody from going elsewhere, but keep that in mind.
And just a follow-up question to the previous one about camp shutting down by 3 o'clock to disinfect. Someone is asking, does that mean that everyone has to be out of camp by 3 p.m.
Yes, it does.
on that Friday?
On that Friday, we have adjusted our program to make sure that everything will be completed. You're all invited to lunch. We will be doing a formal closing to make sure that you have all of the supplies that, all of your blue cards and the awards. But we do need the extra time to make sure that we can get camp completely disinfected.
Okay. I think a question that a lot of people ask regarding the world we live in: who's enforcing the proper wearing of masks?
Well, I am going to depend on the leaders to learn how to properly wear a mask and to help us out because we're not going to have a whole bunch of mask police running around. But we are going to encourage everybody to please. A mask does no good if it's only covering your nose or if it's only covering your mouth. All right? It has to cover both your nose and mouth. There are several videos, if you want to, you can download from the CDC about the proper wearing of masks. And a lot of these are done by cartoon for the younger kids. But we need all of the leadership, including the youth leadership, to help us out.
Okay. James, I think this could be more of a question for you. They were looking through the website and they cannot find where it is the list of pre-requirements for merit badges. Would you be able to point them in the right direction?
I have to look, so give me a minute, and I will get back to you on that. So give me 1 minute.
It hasn't been posted on the camp website yet. It's on the Monmouth Council website for pre-event screenings. But we are going to post the pre-camp pre-camp screening form.
Okay.
Will, before you move on, the prerequisites, I think is what the question is for on the merit badges. That'll actually be in the leader's guide. So if you're looking for a specific, I want to take electronics and what do I have to do before I come to camp? That information you'll find in the leader's guide as soon as it's posted.
Okay. Here's another one. I think this is not a hard answer for this one. Do you have Forestburg label masks to purchase as a memento?
We are working on that right now as we speak. We are checking into several vendors. And we will definitely have some Forestburg branded masks to take home as mementos.
Okay. And the next one we know is the recorded Zoom session will be available. Yes, it will. Will troops be able to drop their trailer at their campsite prior to the assigned check-in time?
I'll answer that one. That would be a no. You are not getting past the gate until everyone has been checked. And that again is for your safety and the safety of our staff. So the troop will stay together as they have in the past. And once the troop has been released to go into camp, they will then be allowed to bring their gear and their trailer in the site.
Okay. Are camperships only for in-council scouts? I think we answered this before, but anybody else can elaborate?
I'll jump in.
Council.
Out of council is fine. Anybody coming to camp could have a camping trip.
Okay. We were informed by our council tech chair that the leader's guide is on the forms page and the rest of the website will be updated by close of business tomorrow. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
For merit badges, are blue cards going to be required or will the counselors be able to mark completions in Scout Book directly?
Okay, we're not using Scout Book, we're using Tentaroo to keep track, record keeping. The Tentaroo information, of course, can be exported over to the Scout Book, but we are using blue cards still. We've been asked that question before, and the answer is that we are going to be using blue cards still. Now, if you lose the blue card, you know you can print it directly from Tentaroo for that particular scout or that class. So you have several options available, but scouts, the unit leaders, you'll be able to check on progress because your area directors will be out updating at the close of the day every evening the merit badge requirements that were covered, as well as the attendance.
Okay. The next one, how will the Outback program be affected if Plan B is enacted?
Okay, if Plan B is enacted, there's going to be basically units will be operating as cohorts, but we will have a couple of sub cohorts to accommodate not just the Outback, but the first year camper program. So they will be operating as separate cohorts. And that's part of the Plan B. Like I said, we have laid out different courses and we've laid out different ways of working this. If the merit badge is not one of the ones that require additional time, you'll be traveling through the area, the program area, and getting those merit badges. But we will have sub cohorts established.
Someone mentions, thank you for a great kickoff. When you mentioned that camp will be closed after Friday at 3 p.m. for deep cleaning, does that mean camp services are closed, or do we have to leave camp instead of staying until Saturday morning as usual?
I'm sorry, for
Camp will be closed. Everybody has to be out of camp at 3 o'clock.
Except for the 2-weekers.
Right.
Okay. If a scout cannot swim, what are the restrictions?
if a scout can't swim, they'll be restricted to the non-swimmers area when they go down to the waterfront. Unfortunately, they won't be able to participate in the aquatics merit badges over there. We do recommend taking the progressive swim classes that are offered, and they will be able to go out with like an adult leader in a rowboat because you have to wear PFDs. But as far as the other merit badges, they will be restricted from that. It doesn't mean they can't go down there and play with our log roll or, splash around in the non-swimmer area. We do have a non-swimmer area, so they're not just baking in the sun. Okay.
And I think the question, the follow-up was that, and I think you just answered, was is swimming lessons offered?
Yes, they are. I believe it's offered in period B. But if you take a look at the personal program information, I think that's where it is. We are offering swim lessons. And, for a lot of these kids, this is a reminder for our unit leaders and our parents that are out there. For a lot of these kids, they may just need a little extra help because they've never gone swimming in a lake and they're a little nervous about the gooey stuff on the bottom of the lake, things like that. It's not that they can't swim, it's just that they're real nervous and they just need a little extra encouragement. And our aquatic staff, they are fantastic about getting these kids in the water and through these swim lessons and the swimming classes.
Okay. Next question was, I want to make sure I heard correctly. Will there be a physician on site or will there no longer be a camp nurse?
No, we have a camp nurse. She is a registered nurse, RN, and she is working directly with our camp physician. The camp physician is not on site. But those of you who have come up to camp before, if you remember, her name was Mary Afraid of Bears. She is a fully registered nurse.
Okay. Jillian, this is more of a comment to you rather than a question. It says, thank you. You and I will become good friends related to dietary needs and requirements. I will be in touch. Troop 91 is coming in week 1 and have several scouts with very specific needs and restrictions. So there's a heads up for you.
Thank you, Gerard. I just want to put it out there to anyone. If you have concerns, if you have questions, please feel free to email me. Make sure that Mike has my email address. And I'm not concerned. I'd rather get 1,000 emails than not get any. So please be sure to reach out to me if you have any dietary concerns or restrictions.
Okay. The next one is, will linked boy and girl troops share the same campsite so that they can share leadership?
I believe in the past we did have like 290 shared the same site. And it was not an issue because they did share the leadership. So linked troops, it should not be a problem. We didn't have any issues with 290.
And then if you're going to do that, just let us know so we make sure the campsite is kind of set up to help you out. So the one that 290 was in worked fine for them.
Okay. And a follow-up from someone else. Since Fridays used to be the day the boys finalized merit badges and had parents' dinner, then most left Saturday. Is the cost the same since we now are getting less camp?
Yours, Don.
Yes, the cost is the same. Actually, we haven't raised the cost. The cost every year usually goes up for food and other things. And now this year, we have to put in a lot of extra cleaning, right? Cleaning of the camp. So to cover that extra budgetary line item, we're not changing the price of camp at all. Yes, I agree, you're going home a little bit earlier, but we are putting out extra money to cover the extra costs that we have for sanitizing the camp and other things related to COVID.
There's also additional expenses related to food service, as we won't be serving family style, we'll be serving more individual style. So there'll be individual packets of ketchup, salt, so on and so forth, which obviously raises the expenses of operating the kitchen.
Right.
Okay. Will Plan B still allow troops to patrol cook at Dan Beard?
Yes,
I'll take that one. So our troops over at Dan Beard will probably be the least impacted with their cooking. The change will be on Friday. Friday, your lunch will be served at the billet dining hall. So we're all going to have pizza together. So Friday lunchtime, you will not be cooking in sight. You'll be packing out at that time. But other than that, Plan B will still allow the troops to patrol cook in Denver.
Okay. It's a good question. I think it's one we need to answer. Will all camp counselors and staff be background checked?
Absolutely. We have to do criminal background checks on them through the BSA, and in the state of New York and New Jersey, a separate one is required as well.
Something we take very important. Okay. What day will the program selection open online?
We're shooting for early spring. We just need to double check our figures and make sure that we've got the coverage for the reduced classes that we have. But you'll see the leader's guide posted before too long. You'll see our daily program, which is an hour-by-hour description of our various events going on. And then they will open up the registration early spring.
Okay. This is a fun one. Will there still be a 6 a.m. polar plunge?
On Wednesday morning, 6 a.m., Polar Bear Club is already waiting for you guys to come on out.
Okay.
It's a real polar bear right now where you can't even get in the water, but
If you look at my background, that is currently what the lake looks like. So if you want to be very polar bearish,
Or bob like an ice cube, one or the other. When will registrations for merit badges and programs open? I think we just answered that, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Well, I just got a message question about the current state of affairs as far as vaccines. We don't have any direct information. We are not mandating vaccines at this time. We are not requiring vaccines at this time. We do recommend, and I know I have a few people that are in my club. I already have my appointment set up, but if you have, pre-existing condition, you're over 65, comorbidities, please take a look and see if the vaccine is right for you. We are definitely not mandating it. We hope it doesn't come that way, but if we find out anything different, we will let you know.
Okay. We will certainly update you on that. Traditionally, we pick our week of camp the year prior. When do you need to know the week we plan to come?
As soon as you decide what you would like to do, I think that now we do already have a lot of troops that have signed up for camp, and they have already made their selections for campsites. So I would recommend not waiting too much longer.
Yeah, even though the council office is working remote tomorrow, you can still reach out to Marjorie Ramirez and handle that tomorrow. So she'll be waiting and eager for your question and concerns from there. Okay. What is the cost of camp for this year? Anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Who's taking it?
I don't have the leader's guide handy. Mike or Sue, do you have the leader's guide handy?
No,
The early bird is 420.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Don?
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for conducting this presentation. If Plan B goes into effect, what is the total number of people will be at camp, troops and staff? And what can we expect? When can we get to expect more details on Plan B?
Okay, Plan B. If it comes to Plan B, or if the state of New York mandates that we have to go to a very restricted COVID program, then you will know as soon as we know that we are going to that program. And we, like I said, we are planning on giving you monthly updates. You'll probably get an email blast from council. Then we may have another Zoom meeting to make sure that we go over Plan B for everyone. But Plan B is, like I said, in our hip pocket. We've worked on it. Hopefully, we are not using it, but we are prepared.
Okay. And a follow up to that is, if Plan B goes into effect, will folks be eligible for refunds, or will that decision be definitely made before May 15th?
It will be made before May 15th.
Okay. Are you still running adult leadership training?
Let me take that. We are running adult leadership training for everything except for the CPR certification. The CPR certification will not be at camp this year. And I guess you could figure out why. But all the other adult training will be offered. There's a number of trainings that are offered online. We do have the computer set up, and we have the Scoutmasters lounges available for the leaders to use.
Okay. This is a good question. What if your annual physical is due after camp? My last physical, for example, was in early August, and my insurance makes me wait a full year, or I'm out of pocket. We're scheduled to camp August 8th to August.
Yeah, let me take that one. So either email Mike Mahone on that one, and we have somebody in the back pocket that might be able to help us. We have to go check with them, but we have to have a physical. New York State will not let you in camp without a physical. So reach out to Mike, and we'll probably be able to figure out something.
Right. Michael.mahone@scouting.org. michael.mahon@scouting.org.
Or just go to the website and hit contact under staff, and you'll be able to email Mike directly. Okay. Siblings discount, do we still honor that?
We've never had a sibling discount.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that answers that question. If we were scheduled to come to camp week 1 like last year, are we still scheduled for that week in sight this year, or do we need to reconfirm that with Margin?
You should have been, if you rolled everything over, you should be in week 1 in the site that you selected. Now you can just double check that by going to your Tentaroo registration, and you can pull up your registration information.
But not to confuse you, if you were week 1 last year, this coming year, 2021, it would be like week 2. So everything is shifted up a week. So just be aware of that.
Yep. Okay.
Well, before you move on, I think I know where that siblings discount question came from. That's from Cub Camp. We are not running Cub Camp this year. Formerly, we were partnering with Hudson Valley Council, and they offered a siblings discount for Cub Camp, but it has not been offered at Forestburg Scout Reservation under the Scouts BSA side.
Okay. I just see 2 more questions left. What if your annual physical? Well, we got this one already. I think I answered that one. So we have 1 left. Excuse me. Will outpost camping be allowed?
Yes. You will have to sign up for the particular outpost that you plan on using, and you can do that Sunday night. A couple of things about Sunday night when you do come in for your ad drops and stuff. We are offering this year, I know Jillian didn't touch on that, but it is in your leader's guide, an opportunity to order your birthday cakes and that kind of stuff. You can do that. We'd like to have a heads up beforehand. If you could put that into your Tentaroo registration, that'd be great. If you can't, please make sure that you let Jillian know and fill out the paperwork for your special things, including outpost camping. And if you need to arrange to have Dan Beard style meal that you can take with you to cook out at the outpost.
Yeah, we'll just touch on that, Sue. This year, we're planning on offering some ice cream birthday cakes, traditional sheet cakes. We will have pizza available that you can order through Trading Post full-size pizzas. So if it has something to do with food, make sure you come find me at least 2 days before you need it, please. Save me a trip to Sam's Club unexpectedly.
Socially distant cupcakes too.
Yes.
Yeah, we could do those.
All right. I think that's it. There's no further questions. So I guess if you'd like to wrap up, and then we can end for the night.
Sure. Let me close by saying that we value your unit's attendance in Forestburg. We know there are other scout camps you could attend, but we hope that you come to our camp because we give you the best value for your scouts' hard-earned funds. We provide a safe, fun, and exciting program. We continue to work hard on improving our camp's infrastructure, the quality of our staff and programs offered, and promise to work hard each day to ensure that you have a quality stay. Seriously, if there's anything I can personally do, please call and don't wait until Wednesday's meetings to tell me that you weren't happy the first few days. Just on a side note, Will mentioned earlier, due to inclement weather, the Monmouth Council Service Center will be closed tomorrow and possibly Tuesday. However, if you need to transmit business, our staff will be available tomorrow to serve you virtually. One of the positives that's come out of this pandemic is there are no longer snow days, just remote days. Welcome home.
Thanks, Mike. I want to thank everybody for coming out, joining us virtually. And I certainly want to thank everybody that's been working really hard behind the scenes. We are going to have camp and we're going to have a great time. We're looking forward to, you see my background, the waterfront there? That's what it's going to look. We are really looking forward to welcoming you to camp. It's been a big break for us, having last year nothing to do except chores. So we're looking forward to seeing you. Thanks.